So, just got into town, about 4.5 hours of driving to get up here to Ottawa. I've got things to do tomorrow morning, bright and early, just like everybody else does. And it made me think about some of the best advice I was ever given as an apprentice. I've been passing on to apprentices for a long time. And with this YouTube channel, one of the things I want to make sure I'm doing is helping pass advice for apprentices to be successful and to stay apprentices, to stay in their careers and see themselves through to become journey persons. And so that number one piece of advice is to be on time. And it's really easy for a lot of things to impact and make that hard on a daily basis, and it can change a lot. But the reality is being on time doesn't mean showing up at 6 a.m. for a 6 a.m. start or 7 a.m. for a 7 a.m. start. That means you're showing up at least a half hour before work and you're ready to go at 7 a.m. That means you have the right personal protective equipment on, you've got the right attire for the right weather conditions, you got all the safety gear above and beyond the PPE, maybe the vest, whatever else it is that they require on that site, you've got it all together. If you don't know what that stuff is, you're messaging the day before or a couple of days before to your supervisor or whoever your contact was in your company that you've reached out to coordinate you go into a job site. Get that stuff prepared ahead of time. Ask questions ahead of time. So when you show up on day 1, on day 2, day 20, day 30, it's the same. You're there early, you're dressed for success in the eyes of the construction industry and the apprenticeship industry, and you're ready to go. And there's a lot of other intangibles you can think about, whether it's commuting to the job site, whether you're sharing rides, whether you have to figure out parking the next day. A lot of job sites have, a variety of parking arrangements. You got to figure that stuff out and give yourself time to do it. Commuting, depending where you are in this country, the greater Toronto area, commuting into downtown Toronto, that's a challenge. It's never been good. I don't think it's ever going to get good, and you need to leave yourself plenty of time. And if you don't know how much time to leave, definitely ask around and then leave yourself an extra half hour. Worst case scenario, you're going to find a local Tim Hortons, get yourself a coffee, and you have that extra time at the job site to enjoy that coffee before your day starts. And then you'll know for the next day how you can cut maybe a few more minutes off that drive and get a little more appropriate. But leave yourself at least a half hour. So many things can happen that turn your world upside down the night before or the morning of to get on a job site. And unfortunately, that impression of being late and then becoming what looks like consistently late on things that maybe you didn't plan for or things that were unforeseen, it doesn't really matter how that plays out. You're the one that wears it. I want to see all of you succeed as apprentices and become great journey people in this country and help grow our skilled trades and get that next generation set to go and just keep the perpetual wheel of motion going forward in the growth of this amazing industry and working as an apprentice in the skilled trades. And the best piece of advice I was given was be on time. And it's been so important to pass that along. And any apprentice I've ever known, the first thing they tell other people in being successful in tips on how to have a good time in your apprenticeship and how to do well in your apprenticeship is to be on time. This is like the cardinal rule. So I'll leave you with that as tip 1. I got a series coming out this week on tips for successful apprenticeships. And I mean, this is the cornerstone. This is the backbone. If you can get this one down first and foremost, you're off to a great start and you're in a great position to set yourself up for success. So I wish you all the luck and look forward to talking to you with the rest of the tips this week. All the best.